So, I moved to Prague, Czech Republic, in 2015. I was 26 years old. I was 8 months out of a breakup of a 6-year relationship, and I had some serious, wanderlust to travel. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to get out of the US. I wanted to live in a non-English speaking country. I had a taste for life as a foreigner from when I lived in Brazil. I lived in Brazil when I was 17 to 18 as an exchange student. Then I'd gone back to the US until 26, and I didn't travel internationally in between. And I really wanted to, but it bummed me out that I didn't do it. So after I went through my breakup, I decided to also quit my job and also move to Europe, as one does. I did come here with the intention to move here and stay here. I didn't. Some people come here with the intention just to do a year here and then go back to where they're from, and then they change their mind maybe. But I always came kind of with the intention of staying. So I'm happy that it worked out because I'd never been to Europe before. I arrived in Prague with 2 suitcases, a backpack, and a whole lot of hopes and dreams. Some of which I think have really come true. I've definitely learned so much about myself and about what it means to be an adult. And I know that sounds very boring, but what I learned was that's not a real thing. I'm still the same person I was when I was a teenager. And that's what I'm learning, to just kind of accept that now. Oh, okay, I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life. Oh, I'm never going to figure it out. Oh, not figuring it out is figuring it out. Got it. Okay. Prague has been so magical for me in many ways. And that's great because that's the reason I moved here. I was looking for magic. I literally picked Prague because I'd read a fantasy novel that described it as a magical place. And I'm not a mystical person. I'm quite matter of fact. But this novel is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by author who I forget. Sorry. It's a trilogy, and I only read the first 2. So, but the first one, I do remember, it takes place in Prague, and it's not about Prague. This is a young adult fantasy novel. It's got angels and demons and young adult romance, and it was pretty good. I really liked it. But I remember the description of the city was just really enchanting to me, that it was anachronistic walking through the streets. You can see the different time periods in the different buildings. You have these 15th, 14th century Gothic churches right next door to gorgeous Art Nouveau hotels with their graceful curly lines, and then there's modern buildings thrown in there as well, and then there's the block architecture of communism, which is so harsh and just really just contrast, and it just really captured my imagination. And I read that novel probably when I was 22, 23. And it wasn't I read it and then I thought, well, moving to Prague. I just read it and I enjoyed it. And then after I had my big breakup and I wanted to change my life, I was thinking, I don't want to change my life in a little way. I want to change my life in a big way. I want to change my lifestyle, my habits, my attitudes. I want to change the way I treat myself and the way that I choose to live. And I think it'd be easier for me to do that in a fully new place, a new environment where I can start from scratch. And when I was okay, so I'll move abroad. I've wanted to travel again since Brazil. And where should I go? I don't know. Europe sounds good. Where in Europe? I don't know. Prague sounds magical. Why not Prague? And then I did a little research into the practicalities of moving to Europe as an American. And, well, it turned out to be one of the more practical choices because they do have a visa here that is, although I will not say it's easy to get, it is possible to get for, I would say, your average person, at least from the U.S. You do need to prove a base income and a certain amount in the bank, but it wasn't too restrictive, and I was able to do it by cashing out my retirement and selling. Well, sold my car to the insurance company after I crashed it, but that worked out in my favor. So, yeah. And then I came here, and I just love the city. You know, I think becoming a tour guide also kind of helped me fall in love with Prague a bit, because after my first year here, I was living and working as an English teacher of Czech people, Czech kids, and I didn't love the job. I loved some aspects of teaching I like. I just don't feel passionate about teaching. There's nothing wrong with teaching. It's a very noble profession. It's very important as well, and it's, God damn, it's difficult sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, why is teaching so hard? But I wasn't very happy with that job. And so my friend suggested that I start working as a tour guide. And so I began giving tours just to kind of balance out teaching to something else. And I really, really loved giving tours. I love telling stories. I love sort of embracing the magical quality of the city and the way that it looks through the eyes of tourists and visitors, because I know how it looks to a visitor, because I was, and I am still in a way, a visitor here. And, you know, I'm applying for permanent residency, but, you know, I still, sometimes when I see the buildings here are just so beautiful, and it never gets old to me. One thing that I really would miss if I were to leave here, and especially if I were to go back to the US, is the beauty of this city. It's just gorgeous to walk around in an environment that is beautiful. It's absolutely wonderful. And after beginning to give tours, I started learning more about the culture and history. I started learning the culture and history before giving tours, but I did learn a big chunk of it after I began. My first tour was everything I knew, and I just prayed no one asked any questions. At the end, I was like, okay, and that is all, thank you. And then, you know, as time went on, I learned more and more, and I kept studying and reading. I bought all these books about Czech history and Prague history so that I would be able to deepen my knowledge and understanding of the history as well as the culture, and also the language. It did take me longer than I would have liked to start taking lessons regularly because of money reasons, and unfortunately it was really difficult for me to learn it on my own. I'm just not good at self-study, but once I finally started with a regular teacher, and we've been going for a while now, and she's been helping me prepare for the language exam before my permanent residency application, I've really been picking up the language as well. Sorry, I feel like this is going in like so many directions. I just wanted to talk about Prague and how much I love this city, and you know, I don't know if I'll live here forever, but I would like to get the permanent residency at least so that I could stay living and working in Europe, in the EU, because I do love living here in Europe, and I would like to be able to know that I have a home in Czech Republic to come to. Yeah. It's a beautiful country, and it's just, I've really found a place for myself here. It wasn't always easy, and it still isn't sometimes. It can be quite lonely and isolating. I still have no close Czech friends. I have Czech friends, but none of them are very close. And that's not their fault necessarily. They're busy and they have lives and stuff, and the other foreigners like myself have no one here. We have a common need to form a support network and a common time, like an amount of time. I don't have anyone else taking up my time here, so the other foreigners and I hang out. I literally call my best friends here mom, because we take care of each other here like we're moms away from our moms, and it's very wholesome. And I think my life abroad wouldn't be the same without them either. So, yeah. Okay, well, I have been talking for almost 10 minutes now, so I think I'm just going to end my little spiel there as it was. I feel like probably there's somewhere that I could have gone more cohesively. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you would like to hear more about something, tell me in the comments below. If you think my hair looks really nice, keep that comment to yourself. I'm just kidding. You can also tell me in the comments below. Oh, and I did this painting last night. It's not finished. It is not finished. I probably will do I could do another video about it, what it is and what it means and stuff, if it means anything. When it's finished, I feel like right now, because it's not done, I don't know. I don't want to say anything because I don't know where it's going to go.